What $1 million buys in Houston versus New York City. $1 million buys a luxury home in Houston. In New York City, it can buy an apartment smaller than parts of that Houston home. But here is the twist. The Houston buyer may spend more time driving, more money maintaining the property, and more energy protecting it from expensive surprises. Meanwhile, the New York buyer may own less space but gain something Houston cannot offer at any price. So instead of comparing two listings, imagine two people, same age, same income, same $1 million budget. One chooses Houston, the other chooses New York City. And after moving in, their lives look completely different. By the end, you may realize the bigger home is not automatically the better deal. Let's meet the Houston buyer first. We'll call him Daniel. Daniel wants space. He works from home, has family visit often, and is tired of living on top of his neighbors. With roughly $1 million, Daniel may be able to buy a large single-family home in Houston. Think 3 to 5 bedrooms, multiple bathrooms, more than 3,000 square feet, a private office, a large kitchen, a garage, a backyard, and possibly a pool. Now compare that with the New York buyer. We'll call her Maya. Maya wants access. She wants restaurants downstairs, public transportation nearby, and a neighborhood where she can walk almost everywhere. With a similar budget in Manhattan, Maya may be looking at a one-bedroom apartment, possibly around 600 to 800 square feet, depending on the location, building, and condition. Here is the first insane comparison. Daniel's primary bedroom suite could be close to the size of Maya's entire apartment. His closet might be larger than her kitchen, and his garage could take up nearly as much space as her living room and bedroom combined. On square footage alone, this is not a competition. Houston wins easily. But this is where most videos end the comparison too early. Because Daniel did not just buy more house, he also bought more house to maintain. And Maya did not just buy less space, she bought a completely different way of living.
The first morning after they move in, Daniel wakes up in Houston. He walks downstairs, makes coffee in a large kitchen, and looks out at his backyard. He has room for guests, room for a home gym, room for an office. He may even have a room he still does not know how to use. Maya wakes up in New York. Her kitchen is compact. Her bedroom may barely fit more than a bed and a dresser. But when she steps outside, she has coffee shops, restaurants, stores, parks, offices, and subway stations within walking distance. Daniel owns more private space.
Maya has more city outside her door. And this creates the first real question. Would you rather own a larger home or live somewhere that makes a larger home feel less necessary? Now let's talk about what happens after the purchase, because this is where the $1 million Houston home can become surprisingly expensive. Daniel has more square footage to cool, and Houston heat can punish a large house. He may have multiple air conditioning systems, a large roof, more windows, more plumbing, more landscaping, and possibly a pool that needs constant care. If one air conditioning system fails, that could be a painful bill. If the roof needs replacement, the size of the home suddenly works against him. If the foundation develops a problem, the repair may be serious. That beautiful backyard? It needs maintenance. That pool? It needs cleaning, chemicals, equipment, and repairs. The larger the home, the more places money can disappear.
Now Maya has a different problem. Her apartment may come with monthly maintenance fees or common charges. Those payments may cover building staff, elevators, shared spaces, security, insurance, repairs, and building operations. She may also pay extra for parking, extra for storage, and possibly special assessments when the building needs major work. So Daniel pays to maintain more property. Maya pays to share the cost of an entire building. Here is the contrarian truth. The Houston home may offer far more value per square foot while still demanding a serious monthly budget. And the New York apartment may feel painfully expensive while removing many responsibilities from the owner.
The cheaper looking option is not always cheaper. But now the comparison gets even more personal. Daniel wants dinner with friends on a Friday night. Depending on where he lives, he may need to drive. He sits in traffic, finds parking, has dinner, then drives home. Maya leaves her apartment, walks a few blocks, meets friends, takes the subway across town, and returns home without touching a steering wheel. Daniel's home gives him more comfort when he stays inside. Maya's location gives her more options when she goes outside. And over an entire year, that difference becomes huge. Daniel may spend hundreds of hours driving. Maya may spend hundreds of hours walking, taking trains, and being surrounded by people. One lifestyle offers privacy, the other offers proximity. Neither is automatically better, but they create completely different daily lives. Now let's look at the room that exposes the difference better than any statistic: the kitchen. In New York, Maya's kitchen may be efficient but narrow. Counter space matters.
Storage matters. Every inch has a job. A large appliance can make the room feel crowded. In Houston, Daniel may have an oversized island, multiple cabinets, a pantry, and enough room for several people to cook at once. His pantry could almost function as a small room. But here's the strange part. Daniel may use that giant kitchen less often than Maya uses hers. Why? Because Maya may have dozens of restaurants within walking distance. Daniel owns the better kitchen. Maya may have better access to food.
Now look at the bedrooms. Maya's one bedroom may serve one purpose: sleep. If she needs an office, she may place a desk in the living room. If someone visits, the couch becomes the guest room. If she wants a home gym, she may need to join one nearby. Daniel has options. One room can be an office, one can be a guest room, one can be a nursery. Another can become a gym, studio, or game room. And that flexibility matters because life changes. You may be single today, married later, working from home next year, caring for a parent in 5 years. Houston gives Daniel more physical options without needing to move. That is one of the biggest advantages in this entire comparison. But Houston also has a hidden risk that buyers cannot ignore: location. Two homes can look similar and still carry very different exposure to flooding, insurance costs, traffic, schools, commute times, and future development. A home that feels like an incredible deal can become less attractive when you study the surrounding area.
New York has its own version of this problem. Two apartments with the same price can live completely different lives. One may be in a well-managed building with healthy finances, another may be heading toward major assessments. One may have flexible ownership rules, another may restrict renovations, subletting, or who can purchase. One may have low monthly charges, another may carry fees that feel like a second mortgage. The listing price only tells you what it costs to enter. It does not tell you what it costs to stay. And now we reach the part that can upset both cities.
Which property is actually the better investment? New York has scarcity. There is only so much real estate in highly desirable parts of Manhattan. You cannot create more land in the middle of the city. That limited supply can support demand for strong locations. Maya may own a small apartment, but she owns a piece of a globally recognized market. Houston has something different: usability. Daniel's home can serve more people, more life stages, and more daily needs. It gives him space to work, host, raise a family, and adapt. But Houston can continue expanding. New homes can be built, new communities can appear, and Daniel's property may compete with newer homes offering more modern features. New York's strength is scarcity. Houston's strength is flexibility. So, which one wins? At first, Houston seems obvious. More bedrooms, more bathrooms, more privacy, more land,
more home. But New York quietly wins categories that do not appear in the listing photos: walkability, access, convenience, time, energy, and the ability to live without organizing every part of your life around a car. That is why this is not really a property comparison, it is a life comparison. Daniel's $1 million buys control over his private world.
Maya's $1 million buys access to a larger public world. Daniel can close his door and have almost everything he needs at home. Maya can open her door and have almost everything she needs outside. So here is the final verdict. If your priority is space, privacy, family flexibility, and getting more physical home for your money, Houston wins. It is not close. But if your priority is walkability, culture, convenience, and living in the center of constant activity, New York can still be worth the sacrifice. For most buyers trying to maximize what $1 million physically buys, Houston is the winner. But the better life depends on what you value every day. Because a giant house can feel isolating if your life is far away, and a tiny apartment can feel freeing if the entire city is outside your door.
So which buyer are you? Daniel in Houston or Maya in New York? Comment Houston or New York, and subscribe, because next we are comparing Houston with Los Angeles. That one looks obvious at first too, but one hidden cost may completely change the winner.